Hello everyone, GoldenNova here, and it's time for another patron-voted video. Every month, the members of the Nebula Navigator tier and up come together and throw their support behind one of 4 archetypes for me to cover that month. If you'd like to be a part of this merry band, check the link in the description for my Patreon. Any amount is super appreciated, as your support helps me spend my 9 to 5 hours on this channel providing archetype insights and terrible dad jokes to all of you. Today, we'll be covering another one of my favorite subjects, TCG exclusive archetypes. And this is one that found its way into notoriety fairly quickly, the Dangers. A theme that has a very interesting design conceit that was, unsurprisingly, adapted to facilitate explosive combos with other strategies rather than being used to prop up its own. Isn't competitive Yu-Gi-Oh grand? So let's consult our bestiary to brush up on them, hash out how they operate in their natural habitat, then see how they react when interreacting with invasive species. It's time to ride into the danger zone. But before we continue, a quick reminder to please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed my content so far. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and the first stop on our trip is 20k, which means we're incredibly close to unlocking Yusei Explained, where we'll be covering Junks, Stardust, and whatever other cards can help us rev it up. We've also got our Discord, where every Monday is Monado Monday. You can also follow me on Twitch, where you can join me for viewer duels and progression pulls, and don't forget about my Patreon, where you can gain access to my videos early, reach some of these milestones, as well as helping to determine which explained videos I make. Thank you all so much for watching, and now, back to the video. So, what's the deal with Dangers? Well, they're a series of dark attribute monsters of varying types that are based on cryptids, monsters that have been reported as real, but have only scrupulous evidence and legends to back up those claims. However, in this theme, they're more than real, and are ready to leverage their elusive nature into their unique playstyle. Each one of them has an effect that, while in the hand, can be revealed to your opponent. Then, after hiding that revealed monster, your opponent randomly selects a card in your hand to discard. If the discarded card has the same name as the revealed card, then that's all it does. But if the discarded card doesn't have the same name, you special summon the revealed monster from your hand, then draw a card. Basically a reward for evading capture. They also have an effect that triggers when discarded, so even if your opponent gets it right, you still get some kind of benefit. And while the discard effect is a hard once per turn, the hide and seek mechanic is not. If you have 3 of the same kind of danger in hand, you can activate all 3 of their in-hand effects in one turn. Though that does mean the odds of your opponent hitting the correct target does go up, as they aren't looking for the exact card you revealed, just one named the same, as a kind of concession to how public and private knowledge is handled in collectible card games. This creates a very powerful discard engine that, despite its randomness, can still produce incredible results. Danger Jackalope is a level 3 beast monster with 500 attack and 2000 defense, and if discarded, you can special summon a danger monster from your deck in defense position, except another copy of itself. One of the key features of Dangers is that they have some big monsters, both in stats and levels. But because we have such a variety of them, Jackalope can summon a monster with an advantageous level to extend into Synchro and Xyz plays, but that card can just as easily be used for Link summoning. Whatever strategy you play Dangers in, Jackalope is here to help your extra deck hop to it. Danger Tsuchinoko is a level 3 reptile monster with 1300 attack and 0 defense, and if discarded, you can special summon them. So whether your opponent hits it or not, you are going to get your little snake friend, which is actually kind of a brilliant choice. Like, if you miss it, it's summoned like usual, but if they get hit, their ability to still summon themselves might be a reference to a snake shedding its skin, with the husk getting caught and giving this perfect unit a chance to escape. Along with Jackalope, Tsuchinoko was one of the most splash danger monsters for their ability to guarantee a summon of a monster regardless of the chance mechanic, and their advantageous level of 3 was of great import to people like me who were playing PK Fire. Some might call us monsters for playing such a cute little creature in our deck, but I would argue it would be even more evil to leave them behind. And now they're friends with ghostly warriors and demons from the deepest pits of the abyss, the best kinds of friends. Danger Chupacabra is a level 4 fiend monster with 1500 attack and 400 defense, and if discarded, you can target a danger monster in your grave, except another copy of itself, and special summon it. This one didn't catch on quite as well as the other 2, largely because it was dependent on running other dangers to work. While Jackalope was similar, Tsuchinoko was self-sufficient enough to be a good partner. But Chupacabra can't pull from the deck, so you have to have already established your grave for them to work. However, what makes it a liability when splashing is what makes it tremendous in a pure version, as it can take gigantic monsters you may have already discarded, like Bigfoot and Thunderbird, and puts them back in contention. And unlike Jackalope, Chupacabra doesn't have to summon in defense position, so there's nothing getting in the way of unleashing the beast. Danger Mothman is a level 4 insect monster with 1800 attack and 400 defense, and if discarded, it acts like a Dark World Dealings, letting both players draw a card, then discard a card. Dark Worlds would use it to great effect, offsetting its inherent -1 in card economy by discarding Brow, which was a free draw. In Dangers, this works basically the same way, just discard a Danger to get a little extra bonus. In fact, this can get a little out of hand if you manage to trigger this off of summoning a different Danger, because that effect already pays for itself, at which point Mothman can get you even more advantage. And of course, any card that can get you closer to your side deck cards, tech choices, and win conditions is always up for consideration. Now, if you'll excuse me, just saying the word Mothman has gotten a little jingle stuck in my head, and I have got to get that taken care of. Danger Dogman is a level 7 Beast Warrior monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense. Hey, Monarch stats, sweet! If discarded, Dogman debuffs all monsters your opponent currently controls by 1000 attack until the end of the turn. Now, our offensively minded Dangers are no slouches in the combat department, so most of the time the reduced attack is just going to add insult to injury, but sometimes your opponent's just gonna summon a huge monster that you can't normally deal with. An empowered Borreload Savage Dragon, a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon that's been boosted, a power-bonded Cyber Dragon fusion? Okay, that last one might be a bit much, but in most cases, Dogman is here to make sure that attacking over your opponent's monsters isn't too rough. Danger Nessie is a level 7 Aqua monster with 1600 attack and 2800 defense, and if discarded, you can add a Danger card from your deck to your hand. This is the third monster of what was the trifecta of splashable Dangers, being able to search Jackalope and Tsuchinoko in case things went south. This engine was so ubiquitous that all 3 had to be limited, and only recently did Nessie come back to 3 copies. And thank goodness, because while it was powerful enough as a spare extender in other decks, it's even better in pure Danger, because this searches cards, not just monsters, so we'll be able to lock in our incredible support. Danger Ogopogo is a level 8 Sea Serpent with 1200 attack and 3000 defense, and if discarded, you can send a Danger card from your deck to the grave. This is easily the most underwhelming of our Dangers, as Foolish Burial isn't the best effect for our deck to have. But we'll get into some fun setups that you can do with this card when we get into our spells and traps. Other than that, it's a level 8 monster with a respectable defense stat, waiting for another one of our level 8s to help it achieve Xyz status. It's also easily the most terrifying. Turning around to see this monstrosity would make me Ogopo go shit myself. Danger Thunderbird is a level 8 winged beast with 2800 attack and 2400 defense, and if discarded, you can target a set card on the field and destroy it. And there ain't much else to say about it. It's a big bruiser that can hit the board if your opponent whiffs their search, and if they make it, then congrats, you've just knocked out one of their face downs. In fact, let's also bring in their companion, Danger Bigfoot, a level 8 beast monster with 3000 attack and 0 defense. And when they're discarded, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it. So one way or another, you're equipped to handle any card your opponent has on the field. And if it's a monster that can't be destroyed by effect, it better also have battle protections, because otherwise, these massive monstrosities are gonna fly in and stomp all over their setups. Okay, so that's all the monsters, but you're probably familiar with all the ones we've brought up. Now it's time for the oft-forgotten spells and traps. Danger, Excitement, Mystery is a normal spell that has you discarding a level 5 or higher Danger monster to add a level 4 or lower Danger monster from your deck to your hand, and you're locked into only being able to special summon Danger monsters for the rest of the turn. And that right there is why we don't see very many decks splashing in the Danger support. Dangers are such good extenders in other decks, or were at the time of their release, that locking out other lines of play was basically a cardinal sin. But even in the context of a pure deck, this is kinda iffy. It's not like you need help discarding your monsters, and while it can guarantee you activate the effect of a big one, I'd argue it's way more important to guarantee the effects of your smaller dangers, because they have the better starter effects. Though I'm sure there are corner cases where making sure you proc the destruction effects of Thunderbird and Bigfoot are very important, or getting the double search off of discarding a Nessie. But I feel like it just doesn't go far enough in its own theme, because it feels like it's missing the exclamation point. Danger Response Team, on the other hand, is outstanding. It's a normal spell that targets a danger monster you control and any other monster on the field and returns them to the hand. And while in the grave, you can discard a danger monster to place Response Team on the bottom of your deck, then draw a card. So it's non-destruction removal that puts your monster back into the hand, where you can attempt to summon it once again, or set it up to be discarded if you need the effect. In fact, Response Team is there to help handle the other half of that setup, because it gives you a built-in discard outlet that replaces the card you discard. This makes it an amazing card to send to the grave with Ogopogo, as there's no time delay on when you can use Response Team after it hits the grave. And because it gets put back into the deck, any further instances of Ogopogo can be used to set it back up again. And you certainly aren't going to be too upset if it gets hit by your danger effects in hand. Honestly, I'm as excited for this card as this Doc Brown lookalike. Danger, Feats of Strength, is an equipped spell that can only be equipped to a danger monster. It gains 800 attack and defense, can be destroyed by card effects, and can make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. Good gravy! It's no UA powered jersey, but it does turn any of your bigger dangers into a proper boss monster. Like the art suggests, you can slap this onto Bigfoot to make a 3800 attack monster that scoffs at board wipes. And don't be afraid to put this on other dangers either. Even Mothman becomes a 2600 double attacker, and that's no joke. Though keep in mind that the additional attack can only be done on a monster, so no double swinging directly. Feats of Strength is a great way to add even more aggression to your board. Now you just have to find a way to rope in some more monsters. Realm of Danger is a field spell that keeps your opponent from targeting danger monsters you control with card effects during the turn they're special summoned. And once per turn, you can target a danger monster you control, and while you control both that monster and Realm of Danger, that monster can attack directly and can't be targeted for attacks by your opponent, but also does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. You can still keep your opponent off your life points by having other monsters on board, but if the targeted monster is your only one, then you'd better start taking lessons from any of your friends that play Sun Avalon. So not only can this help you swing in for a titanic amount of damage with Bigfoot and Thunderbird, it can also help keep your smaller monsters safe from battle until you can use them for something else. And while you can only activate the effects of Realm once per turn, it doesn't stop you from affecting multiple monsters over multiple turns. So with the right monsters, you can easily close out the game in 2 turns if your opponent doesn't have an answer, something they'll end up having less options for because of the field spell's temporary target shielding. Now I'm telling you, this field spell has some teeth to it. And ribs. And a swamp. And a mountain. Really, it's got everything. Danger, Disturbance, Disorder is the deck's second field spell. When a danger monster you control is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster, which is kinda neat. And you can banish 3 danger spell and or trap cards with different names from your grave to destroy all cards on the field, but you're locked into only special summoning dangers for the rest of the turn. This card is kind of a miss for me. Like, if you need the field wipe, then yeah, it's kind of a bop, and pairs nicely with Feats of Strength to keep that danger safe from destruction, but as a long-term card, it's pretty mid. Though I guess I can say that from a place of relative safety and comfort. When the dangers experience that effect, their home is literally exploding. Really puts things into perspective, huh? Danger Zone is probably the most copyrighted normal trap I've ever seen. You draw 3 cards, then discard 2, including at least 1 danger card. Or if you have no dangers in hand, you show your entire hand and shuffle it into the deck.
They did make Graceful Charity legal. In your face, suck it!
No, they didn't!
Look at it! You draw 3, then discard 2. That's clearly Graceful Charity. You're just missing the sad lady holding the card and the holographic and the angel and the wings.
Yeah, but you have to discard a danger to avoid the drawback. Not every deck can do that.
Nova, every card is dangerous! Have you not been paying attention to what's going on here? You are literally having a feud with a golden zombie.
No, like, mechanically. It has to be a danger card.
But none of them are machines.
Okay, now you're pulling my chain.
No, because you're not a machine either.
Danger Zone is a good card for the theme. Let's move on. You're in Danger is a normal trap that has you revealing 3 danger monsters with different names from your deck, and your opponent randomly picks one. It's special summoned, while the rest of the cards are shuffled into the deck, and during the end phase, the special summoned monster is destroyed. This card is also pretty meh. If used on your opponent's turn, then you have a blocker. If used on your turn, you have another attacker or material for a summon, because thankfully it doesn't apply any kind of restriction. But as far as power levels go, a trap that gives you a temporary monster that you don't have a large amount of control over pales in comparison to counter traps that can stop your opponent, or even a card that summons a monster with the possibility of removal. So when playing this card, the only person in danger is you. Our last card is Second Expedition into Danger, a continuous trap that lets you discard any card to give one of your danger monsters a 500 attack and defense boost until the end of the turn. While the attack boost is pretty nice, it also means your danger discard effects can be used at quick effect speed now. So attack debuffs, destruction, and summons can be done when your opponent least expects it. And even if it doesn't stick on the field, it's still incredibly helpful in the yard, as it has the same grave effect as Response Team, and because it's a trap card, it has the same surprise factor as it does on the field. It doesn't look like much at first glance, but there's a lot of utility to be found here, so it's definitely worth taking a second look at it. Okay, so that's all our danger cards, but what do we do with them? No question, we're on full aggro. We want to be summoning dangers off their effects, triggering the effects of other dangers in the process, building a board of big monsters while wiping your opponent's field clean. Throw in some other cards with good grave effects, and you can find yourself with a formidable field of catastrophic cryptids, ending the game in a blurry photo finish. But what can we play to help them out? It's hard to deny the synergy of Danger Dark World. DWs are always looking for the next big discard outlet, and Dangers are right there to help with that. You can even choose to play the Gates of Dark World over Realm of Danger, since the former actually advances your game plan. You can even discard Chupacabra for the effect. How cool is that? You will have to balance the fact that some of your cards give you lockouts, but since only 2 of them do that and aren't that good, you could just not play them. And because Graph is kinda like a better version of Bigfoot and Thunderbird with recursion, it means you don't have to field either of these 2 dangers to keep your field stable. Combine that with the control options provided by the virus cards, and you've got a recipe for success. On the other hand, if you play them with Fabled, then you've got all the attributes you need to splash in your favorite Chaos monsters. I'd also be remiss if I went through all of this and didn't bring up Danger GoldenNovaYugioh. While the hit 2 Pot of Desires was a big blow to the deck, you still have access to Bigfoot and Thunderbird as ways to put massive attack values on board while churning through your deck. And the removal certainly isn't bad for helping clear a path for GoldenNovaYugioh's attacks. But you know, if things go wrong, your hand could end up looking pretty sparse. Thankfully, Infernity are here to take advantage of your disadvantage. They even love having cards in the grave. How fortunate is that? Pot of Avarice is great for recycling all the monsters you'll be throwing into the grave over the course of your turns, ensuring you never run out of monsters to cycle. But if you want to go absolutely bonkers, you could play Beginning of the End. Drawing 3 cards is an easy way to get back into the game as long as you've sped through enough of your deck. As for a silly tech pick, my money's on Monarchs. Free special summons means free tribute fodder. And for all the Monarch spells and traps that require you to reveal a monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense in hand, Dogman has you covered. And bonus, since the entire theme is dark, you get to take full advantage of Megachaios' effect. And that's all I have to say about Dangers. They're wild, they're wacky, and they'll leave you with plenty of time between rounds one way or another. Despite having a downturn in playability as the game's evolved, and some of their more splashable pieces have been restricted, there's still a lot of potential in these primal powerhouses, and I look forward to showing off their capabilities aside other wonderful cryptid programming on the History Channel. But now, I want to hear what you all have to say. Do you think that Dangers are a real deck, or is Trust Me not good enough of a source? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please make sure to like this video to show your support, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and share this video with someone you know who loves Yu-Gi-Oh! It really does a lot to help me out. Today's episode was brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's Nebula Navigators Adam Zajdel, Benjamin Meisner, Eric, Genesis Yu-Gi-Oh!, Gloomba331, Howling Zangetsu, John Manji, Panther J, Rebel King Lucifer, Shooting Star 3300, Sun Sorrow, The Wizard Moose, The Fresh Prince of Conair, and Xander Wolfensberger, Cosmic Crusaders, Bear Sharktopus Studios, Serb, Jazz Ghost, Colin Todd, Manga Pages, RGS and the Legendary Raven, as well as the wonderful Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to be a part of these credits, as well as getting to see these episodes earlier than anyone else, check out the links to my Patreon below to see if I have anything you'd like on offer. And if you want to hear me talk about another theme that has dark monsters you'll be discarding from hand a lot, check out this video I did covering Karibo. And if you want to see two Yugi tubers going at it, check out Noah Jenkinai's latest series, Progression Polls, where your voice shapes the format. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.